Let's watch this video. When I set my camera, I wanted to say a whole lot of things, but I'm going to keep it simple. Listen to me very carefully. I've said it on this channel before, and I'm going to say it again, and I will keep saying it, and I'll continue to say it until everybody gets to understand and then learn. See, when accident happens, first aid is not always water. That is what we are fond of doing in Ghana. When somebody falls down, when somebody breaks their neck, when somebody is involved in an accident, the first thing that we send there is water. And I keep telling you people that water is not the best solution to this problem. I need you to share this video to every single human being that you know. You know why? Because you don't know who is going to be on the floor, and you need to watch this video to the end so that you learn something to keep and safeguard your loved ones and yourself. Please make sure you share this video to somebody who is close to you. That person needs to learn and understand, because you don't know who is going to be on the floor next time. They might pour that water on you and you might never wake up. That is going to be your end. I am going to teach you something that nobody will ever teach you, so you need to pay close attention. Make sure you bookmark this video if you're watching me on TikTok, and then make sure you save this video if you're watching me on YouTube. You see that water that they used to wash this woman's face? That is not what woke this woman up. I'm going to teach you what woke this woman up. And that water that they poured on this woman can send this woman to her early grave, and I'm going to explain for you to understand. You see, when this woman fell down, what happened was she suffered a syncope. And then what she's suffering is what we call vasovagal syncope, if you look at it. Now, vasovagal syncope is one of the syncopes that most often happen when something happens to you as a shock. When you see something and then that thing triggers your emotional part, that is what we call vasovagal syncope. So you go out and then you see your boyfriend be that have done you something that have so you see that boyfriend, you can get a vasovagal syncope. You go out and then they've told you that somebody has died. And then you go out and you meet that person that they told you that person has died. That comes to you as a shock, and that can trigger vasovagal syncope. Now, what happens in vasovagal syncope is very simple. When the person gets to see something which is a shock to them, their vagus nerves tend to become very, very sensitive, and it overreacts. When it gets stimulated, what it does is that it puts your body in a rest and digest mode. Now, in a rest and digest mode, it's going to slow your heart rate, it's going to dilate your blood vessels. Those are the main things that it's going to do. And then it's going to increase blood flow to your intestine part so that you can digest your food and absorb it. That is the normal function of it. Now, when it gets to get triggered as a result of emotional trauma, it overdo. When it overdo, your heart rate is going to slow down, and then your blood vessels are going to dilate more. Now, when your blood vessels dilate more, it means that now there is a lot of space inside. And when there's a lot of space inside, the quantity of blood that is inside is going to fall, or is going to fall to your lower part. So assuming you have a pipeline inside your throat over here. Now inside that pipeline, you have water. Now you've decided to put a bigger pipeline. What do you think is going to happen? You have the same amount of water inside that same pipeline. What is going to happen? The water is going to fall to the bottom part of the pipeline. Why? Because now the pipeline has become big. That is the same exact thing that happens inside your body. Now, when that thing happens, your brain is at the top part of your body. So this time around, there is no enough blood that gets to your brain. God have put some system inside your brain that makes you to knock off. And when it knocks you off, you have become vertical like this. So now the blood can easily flow to your brain. We don't need enough pressure to send it to your brain. It's just like you fetch water inside a bottle. Now when you fetch water inside a bottle and you make it stand, the water is going to be at the down, right? When you do it like this, the water is going to flow and flow all the way to the head. Is that not it? That is the same thing that happens to your body. So now when you fall down flat, blood can now easily flow to your brain. I hope you understand. Good. Now, when you fall down flat and now blood is flowing to your brain gets enough nourishment, it's going to wake you up. That is the same exact thing that happened to this woman. After she fell down, blood was able to flow to her brain. And when blood flowed to her brain, the brain got nourishment. Then it decided to wake her up. It is not because of the water that they poured on her that woke her up. Now listen, that water that they poured on her can send her to her early grave. I said it in the beginning part of the video. Let me explain it for you to understand. When you pour cold water on somebody whose blood vessels are dilated, it can stimulate the blood vessels to constrict. Now, when you pour the cold water on the person and then now the blood is at the down part of the person. Now you've poured cold water on the person and then it constrict the blood vessels that supply to the brain. Now the blood cannot flow to the brain even though the person is now vertical. Now the blood vessels are constricted. Blood is not flowing to the brain, so it can kill the person. So anytime somebody falls down on their back, don't pour water on them. Don't, especially cold water. Don't pour it on them, because when you pour it on them, you can send them to their early grave. Are you listening to me? Very good. So what are you supposed to do? What you are supposed to do is very simple. You are going to do first three things which are most important for me, which is A, B, and C. Keep it in your head. A, B, C is as simple as A, B, C. Now, A stands for airway. You are going to check if there is something blocking the person that has fallen down's airway. So you are going to open their mouth, and then you check if their tongue has fallen back and then is blocking their airway. Number two, you are going to check if the person is still breathing. And then C stands for circulation. You are going to check if the person's heart is still working, because the person's heart needs to still be working. If it's not working, there is going to be problem. How do you check if the person's heart is working? You see this your two fingers and you see the person's stump. This is the person's stump. So walk all the way down the person's stump and come down all the way to the wrist here. There is a hole here. Press it and then you are going to hear a bounding pulse. You hear that? It's boom, boom. You will not hear the sound, but you'll be feeling it on your hands. Exactly. If you feel it bounding, it means the person's heart is still working. So what you're going to do is that you're going to put that person in a recovery position. You're going to turn that person on their side so that their tongue doesn't block their airway. And if there is any saliva or vomit that is in their mouth, it's going to pour out. And then there is going to be space for them to easily breathe. Now, if you do this ABC and you realize that the person is not breathing, but their heart is still working, you're going to do what we call mouth to mouth. It's very simple. You are going to put your hand on the person's forehead and then you put your other hand under their jaw. As your hand is under their jaw, you are going to raise this part up and then the other hand on their forehead, you push that one back. That is going to create space inside their throat. Then you use your one hand to close their nose, and as their mouth is open, you put your mouth on their mouth and you blow air inside 2 times. You blow it 2 times. When you blow the air, you realize that their chest is expanding. If their chest is not expanding, it means that you are not doing a good work. You need to do a better work. Are you listening to me? Very good. Now, in a situation where you check the person's pulse and you realize that their heart is not working, then you put your ears on their chest to hear if their heart is still beating, and it's not beating. You are going to do something that we call CPR. And I'm going to demonstrate that CPR in my next video. If you are watching me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that when I drop it, you can be able to lay your hands on it. And also, if you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you follow me. If you're watching me on Facebook, make sure you follow me. If you're watching me on Instagram, make sure you follow me and then put your post notification on so that if I drop, you'll be able to learn and save your family. Now, let me tell you something before I go. When something happens to somebody and that thing can jeopardize that person's life, the first person that could save that person is the person beside, which is you. That is the reason why I keep saying it every single day, that Ghana government should make sure that they start teaching first aid from primary school. And I'm going to keep saying this thing because I know very well that the government officials of Ghana watches my video and they need to put this into action. I know the new generation coming needs to learn how to speak Chinese language because the world is now revolving towards the Chinese part. And another thing that they need to also know is how to save their brother's life, how to save their sister's life. If first aid was well taught, I don't think Abai is going to pour a cold water on somebody who has had a syncope, but rather he's going to do the right things to bring this woman back. If this woman was to suffer a heart attack, if this woman was to suffer something that was more serious than that, she could have lost it. That is one of the reasons why I've decided to put it upon myself to teach every single day simple things that can save our life, simple things that can save the life of our loved ones. And I'll continue to do that until the whole Ghana gets to know the simple things that can save them. My name is Mr. Madugu. I'm a registered nurse, and every single day, this is what I do. I teach you something that will keep you away from the hospital. If you find this video helpful, make sure you share it to somebody that needs to hear it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow us, and then we'll see you in the next one. Stay healthy and stay safe. Peace.